Yo, it's WOEDIEWOE. We here. We outside. So I'm originally from upstate New York. I grew up on Yonkers, on the border of the Bronx. I've lived there pretty much half my whole childhood there. And then we traveled everywhere. We always lived nomadic. So came down here and to Florida, South Florida. In 2012, the world was supposed to end, but it didn't end. We still here. And yeah, I landed in Broward. And from Broward's like the New York of Florida. It felt like everybody was kind of grizzly and everything. And then we moved around. We went to like Orlando, Tampa, and then, you know, pretty much find a solace here in West Palm Beach. Like the music thing started off like as like a recreational thing. We would kind of like roast each other, have freestyle battles, and just constantly freestyle with each other. But I didn't really take it off from school. I actually dropped out, ended up going back. But yeah, the music has just always been something that was like on the side, an outlet, something I can go to. I didn't really go to school for it, you know, didn't take any classes, but you know, during the SoundCloud era, that's when I kind of locked in, learned how to make beats, produce. I used like Pro Tools, Audacity, FL Studios, Mixcraft, all, you name it, Ableton. So I've like recorded songs personally myself, but like the most, you know, memorable time, it would have to be like, yeah, the first track actually getting into the studio. It would be with, you know, Leo and Flip when we was working on our Siphon Set stuff. We'd kind of come together. My thing is like I always freestyle, so people are like, you know, like, yo, you got music out, but I don't, because everything's kind of organic in the moment. So people saying like, yo, you would, like, I had somebody tell me, you're not doing your job, because if I'm having a bad day and your music make me feel good and I can't go to your music, I can't find it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So from there on, we locked in, got into the studio, started producing and making tracks. And yeah, since then, it's been steady, it's been consistent, it's beautiful. 2023, maybe 2024, we started as an open mic originally, and then it kind of like progressed, and we wanted to branch out and reach like bigger demographics of people, bigger artists and stuff, you know, look for more talent, you know, to challenge us, you know, as growth and stuff, because that was the biggest thing, is finding like where you could freestyle yourself, but also feel like you're not hindering yourself, like there's people around you in the same caliber, you could progress and get better. You know, I had like my favorite genres, obviously like hip hop, but I've always been a fan of like punk rock, grunge music, and the high energy that they bring, and then the lyricism that comes within hip hop. You know, it was kind of like both worlds was something I wanted to meet, but it never really was like an artist or anything that kind of like pushed me forward. I think performing is the biggest thing. I like the fact that you could get on stage and leave it on stage. You know, making music is one thing, but when you get up there and you're performing and people see you doing what you love to do, and the energy you put out, it's inspiring not just to other people, but like the energy, the high that you have when you come off of it, it's natural. The biggest thing that kept me going, if not the people that I was working with at the time, but like, you know, being able to perform that inspiration, I thrived off of that, and it was something I really loved to do. It wasn't like I was trying to achieve anything. It came off very organic, and I feel like people seen that. I know where it could have gone and how big it could have gotten and where it still could have gotten. Unfortunately, the bar shut down and we had to branch off and do our own thing, but it's still growing. But yeah. We got Lung Killer, I got Met the Mic, we got Same Gods, Talk Like That, what else? And then we have a whole bunch of like collab tracks that are kind of like, but those are all like unreleased. Those are kind of like the ones that's out right now. Like you can find them on all plats. Back to My Roots. That's another song that's out on all plats right now. It's one of my favorites. That song's more about kind of like, you know, sometimes to progress you gotta go backwards, right? And I feel like people understand what's going on around them and try to pick at things, but it's evident, it's right there. And when you listen to the song and stuff like that, it's very, you know, in the pocket. The words are precise, the delivery is punctual. It kind of like, you know, lets you know the whole story. you know, it's a time machine, literally. So the group started like 2023. Originally 2022, we were an open mic. We were called the Hang Time, and we had a homie named Rhetorical Arts. He would come in there, he would freestyle. It was originally started as 2 people, and the 2 people, you know, we were like, you know, we had a vision, we wanted to freestyle and have people come, but nobody came the first day. And then the next week, 2 people showed up, and then the next week, 4 more people showed up, and it just got bigger like that. Like every week, like another 4 people will show up, and then eventually by the end of the month, and you know, 2 months later, we have this full, you know, circle of artists, freestyle artists that are coming in. Some of them can't even rap, but you know, want to learn, and you know, some of them want to get better. And you know, there was a pocket in there when we would go out there and we would rap. People would be inspired, and they would kind of like gravitate towards us, like how do we rap with these cats and stuff. And yeah, we would do this every Monday. It was beautiful, exhausting though, every Monday, exhausting. But yeah, that grew. Homie Adam, he eventually took off to college and stuff. But when we were doing the events, he would go inside and have the cypher, and I'd go outside and have a session. Cause you know, we'd be like smoking and, you know, take a break, a quick, you know, intermission and stuff. And that ended up turning into like, you know, siphon session. Like, I'm trying to go siph right quick, and then I'm trying to go have a session right afterwards. And then that just became something like the outside area where we were smoking. We were still rapping, but now we're smoking and stuff. We're all passing joints and stuff. And then that just eventually grew into the actual, you know, what we are today. We definitely have another tour on the plate. We just came back from Tokyo, 2026, March. It was a beautiful run. We met a lot of people, a lot of networks, and we still have content coming in and out from there, and people reaching out, you know, to book. But we want to try some other places, maybe even some local places. So we're thinking maybe like upstate, you know, maybe New York, you know, go back to the origin, stomp around there for a little bit, and, you know, just see what's on the plate. Obviously, we do have a second tape coming out, second Cypher Sesh tape coming out. We don't have a release date for it yet, but when we get one, it's gonna be everywhere. You're gonna see it. So I think it's like breathing, you know, like I don't think it's really like an actual thing. You go, oh, this is why I'm doing it. You know, this is something that's kind of built into you. It's in your coding. It's what you love to do. You know, people ask you, you know, when you're, you know, how you rap, how you freestyle, and sometimes you don't really have the words to tell them. You could, you know, kind of break it down how you do it, but the reality of it is just, you know, this is what you do. And I love to do it. I love music. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop. I don't think I'm gonna be 50, 60 years old. You know, we was in Tokyo seeing 80-year-old dudes fucking shredding guitars, still rocking out shows, and then going home to their family, you know, or to their grandkids or something like that. Like, the music never stops. It ain't gonna stop, and I think that'll be the case always. If I had to be anywhere, it'd probably be somewhere comfortable, you know, where I don't have to like reach out so far and wide to do what I want to do, you know, these dreams, these visions, and get stuff done. Maybe even own like our own, you know, studio where we do in-house, you know, events and stuff, and you know, we promote other artists and we just kind of like push it out that way. But you know, fingers crossed. You know, longevity is the biggest thing. You know, I have my little dog. He just passed away. She just passed away like last week. So that's been kind of like heavy on my mind. I've been kind of taking a step back from everything and really trying to lock in the real reason. You know, sometimes when you're working, everything gets convoluted. You know, you get lost on the journey. Music this, promoting that, social media this, followers, all that. And you know, I bought a flip phone. And since then, you know, people been hitting me up and they're like, oh, you know, we don't talk, you know, you don't hit me up. But no, literally it was the best thing for me to kind of like step back. And that also put me in the pocket where I could make more music for myself, you know. That's another thing too, taking time for your music, you know, not just putting out stuff, like, you know, actually curating it, you know, a feeling, a message, you know, something you want to personify, you know, just something that's meaningful and not just, you know, content. Chin up, you know, walk into it, you know what I mean? If it's gonna hit you, it's gonna hit you, you know? Walk into it, take it, move forward, write a song about it, you know? That's the biggest thing. That's kind of like, light people kind of, you know, everybody, it's funny, I meet a lot of people, everybody got problems, everybody, you know, got going through their own stuff, and that's life, you know, but the reality of it is how you handle it. And, you know, that a lot of artists tend to kind of hold on to that and keep it internalize and put it in the music. And I love to see it, you know, but don't become that, you know. Make it a message. It's a chapter. Move on to the next one, right? And then the next chapter is your comeback season. Like, so definitely, you know, keep your head up, take everything head on, and don't quit. Okay. I want to, you know, shout out Leo Mike, shout out Flip, the MC, shout out Celine, shout out Tao Locust. I mean, Cypher Session. Like, there's so many people. Kumo. Like, we got a whole team of people. You know, shout out everybody. I love you guys. You know what I mean? If we wouldn't be here without y'all, y'all been a real pillar of the foundation in the community, holding everybody down, you know. And if I didn't say your name, don't think I don't know, you know. When I see you in person, I'll shout you out there, all right? All right, yo, it's WOEDIEWOE. Shout out, respect the vibe.
I felt my brain was meant to blow. Not everything is what it seems. Not everything that shines is gold. The world is so cold, so I sleep with the flame on me. We isn't the same, homie. I feel like Hokage the way she pulling that thing on me. And I don't never change. I know they mad as shit. I don't give a shit. I wrote the fattest splits. Always in the street like where the traffic is. Still count my blessings all on the advocates. Man, inside the minute, the only man that I've been battling. I focus my energy on my kundalini. My great migration from season changing and people leaving. Riding in the two-seater with a doobie. That shit that's happening to me don't only be happening in movies. Try to keep you moving when you want more. What we in a rush for? I rush to a bag when you could rush more. Break yourself down to become more. Like a blacksmith making swords using crushed doors. Came along